Okay, so we're ready to now look at our pads within this melodic techno track, and I've got a really beautiful preset here from Arturia Pigments, which again is also available in Analog Lab 5, and you can see it's the brand new Pigments 4 with its lovely new light theme, which I absolutely love. And I've got this really lovely fifth sweep, so let's have a little play of this, and then we can explore how we can expand upon this sound. So it's got this really nice sort of hyper saw, super saw kind of vibe, really nice and emotional. And one of the things I want to do is maybe just layer it up a little bit. And again, as I've mentioned before, Analog Lab is perfect for this type of thing. So I can move back into our mixer style window here, and we can actually go to part 2 and click here to add an instrument to the mix. So why don't we? And one of the things we can do here, as you can probably see, we've got an overabundance of choice here. We've got over 10,000 presets to have a little look at. So maybe we need to do a little bit of smart filtering to get to the sound that we're after. So why don't we go into types, because we're in pads. Let's filter it down to some pads and then look at various different styles. So again, this is where the different characteristics and genres become really, really useful. Maybe what we want to do is look for a dark pad, which thankfully now we're not at 10,000 presets, we're at 545. But let's keep going to reduce our choice, our palette, if you will, into the least amount of most appropriate sounds. So maybe I want to filter for techno, which again gives me the 58, and we've got this lovely amount of sounds here, but we can go further. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that the preset is called a fifth sweep, and it's because it's got a perfect fifth in its tuning, which means one of those oscillators will have been tuned either +7 semitones or -5 semitones in order to get that nice interval, and that's where a lot of that emotion's coming from. So what I can actually do is click search presets and I can type in fifth. Well, wouldn't you know, we've got a moving fifth. And because of the fact that we're going to actually move this in, you can actually see it here on the DX7. And what's really nice is before I commit, I can actually audition this alongside. And you can hear that lovely classic FM working beautifully with Pigments. So we can click done here, and then we can click edit preset, and now we've got the ability to mix and merge both of these, which is a really, really nice thing. So what we can actually do now is, because we're not going to use any chorus or effects, we can be quite clever here, and what we can do is actually insert an effect on A, which again could be a parametric EQ. We could also add the same on effect B. And actually what we can do is actually have separate EQs for each layer, which will allow us then to just merge and blend these sounds a little bit better. And we can start obviously by turning the level down a little bit. And we get that lovely voicing from our DX7 fifth pad, but the main Arturia Pigments sound remains dominant, and that's exactly what we want. And again, it shows you with clever routing of these effect slots here, you've actually got the ability to individually EQ layers and individually process them before they go to the master of Analog Lab and then leave the plugin, shall we say. And again, we've got the ability here on the master. We can just tweak things a little bit. Maybe we want to take a little bit more low end out. And again, we can obviously play around with the reverb because the reverb's having an effect. And maybe we add a bit of delay as well. And the delay is subtle, but it is adding a little bit of thickness, a little bit of presence, a little bit of extra movement. Now, again, if we move out of Analog Lab for a second, you can see again, just in the context of our melodic techno idea here, we've got some side chaining going on. We've rolled off a little bit of the low end, and we've also got the ability to add an auto filter here and be able to control the sound overall. So effectively now we've got a master filter for the whole thing, which means we can automate that up quite nicely. One little final tip that I love to do when I use the MS2 in Ableton is that you can just see right next to my face here, I've got a little drive function that pops up when I change the filter mode. MS2 is a really nice sound. It, as a classic synthesizer kind of filter sound, and again, you can add that to your entire chain here, and again, you would be able to actually save this as an overall preset within Ableton and be able to move around with it and move it between productions. Very, very useful stuff indeed. So now we're finished with the pads, we're going to move on to the final element of our melodic techno idea here, and we're going to look at adding an arpeggio.